Hi guys, Kathy Bracken here and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is part 3 of my awesome GLP-1 Weight Loss Journey series. In today's video, I'm going to share the when and where I took my Tirzepatide shots, my side effects, my tracking apps, and my smart scale. And finally, I'm going to give you a breakdown of my monthly weight loss totals. So if you're ready, let's jump right in. So I want to talk about the when and where I took my Tirzepatide shots. The shot part is pretty simple. I took them weekly and I took them in my stomach area. So on the weekly point, I started taking them on a Monday. And so for the first month, every Monday morning was my shot day. After a month, I switched to a Saturday, and then later on in the journey, I switched to a Friday, which was just the day before. So it's important that you take the shot every 7 days. If you're going to move a day, you should probably just try to move it either one day before or 1 or 2 days afterwards. But you want to stay as regular as possible because the concentration of the medication in your body affects how it works. So you don't want irregular spikes of the drug in your system. You want it to be consistent so that you can tell if the milligram or the dosage or the strengths are effective for you. And then the next point is that I took them in my stomach area and I went kind of in a quadrant rotation. I chose not to do the rotation throughout my body. I actually find it quite unpleasant to take needles in my leg and in my the back of my arms. But the stomach, for some reason, the abdomen area and that quadrant around my navel worked just fine for me. So that was my rotation. Upper left, upper right, lower right. So let's discuss my side effects. Fortunately, I only had 2 side effects, fatigue and some constipation. And I say fortunately because for me, they were both very easy to resolve very early on. But I'll share what I did. So for the fatigue, in the beginning, after starting Tirzepatide, struggled for some reason with the taste of coffee. So being a morning person, I normally drink my coffee with creamer, but the coffee black and the coffee with the creamer just didn't taste the same. So I stopped drinking the coffee. My doctor then recommended vitamin B fat burner. I took that for a week and that didn't help. And so what I wound up doing for the fatigue, in addition to extending my midday naps, was I began to take no-dose caffeine tabs and some 5-hour energy shots. Now, I know that sounds a little terrible, but what I would do is take each one of those, the 1 tablet and the 1 shot, each contain only about 200 milligrams of caffeine. And the 5-hour energy actually has some other good stuff like the choline and taurine in it, which is good for your brain. So I took either half of a 5-hour energy before I went to the gym in the morning, or half a no-dose caffeine tab first thing in the morning. And then right after my nap, I would take the other half or the remaining 5-hour energy. So those 2, and I didn't take them at the same time and I didn't take them the same day. I kind of switched it up because if I take the caffeine tablets regularly, my body builds a resistance to it, and I start to, if I decide that I want to kind of slow it down or back it up a little bit or not take them, however often I was taking them, I'd get a really, really nasty caffeine headache. So I found that if I took maybe the tablets 2 days and then switched it up to the 5-hour energy the other 2 days, that would work for me. The only downside about the 5-hour energy was that it contains the sucralose that I discussed in the part 2. But it's a little tiny amount, and so for the sake of finding my mountains to die on, I do consume that. And it's worked wonderful. I discovered that, week 2, week 3, and ever since then, that's kind of been my go-to. And at this stage, since about the beginning of month 5, I don't even need to take them every day because my natural energy, for some reason, has just returned. And I don't, besides it's like the effect that the Tirzepatide created has kind of gone away. And so now I get up in the morning, my energy is pretty natural, and then midday I still need my nap, but I don't have to depend on those two sources of caffeine for mental clarity first thing in the morning and energy. Now, for the constipation, that too was not a very difficult thing for me to correct. With a combination of my regular probiotic, I researched and found another probiotic called Akkermansia, and that with my regular probiotic worked so well. And then I also increased to maybe a couple of days a week my green drink, which contains chlorella, spirulina, and a litany of other green food sources, as well as vitamins and minerals. So it was kind of a nutritional packed green drink. And some apple pectin as a form of additional fiber. And I needed the additional fiber for me specifically because the taste of lettuce, specifically the iceberg lettuce and romaine lettuce, the texture of the lettuce bothers me now since I've been on the Tirzepatide. And I know it's the Tirzepatide because I am a salad person. I eat iceberg lettuce, greens, and the romaine regularly all the time. And since I've been on the Tirzepatide, I can only eat it occasionally, and often I use the lettuce products in place of carbs, bread, wraps, things like that. But for the most part, I just don't like the taste and the texture of it right now. So I do the apple pectin as another form of good fiber in my body to help everything in my gut move along. So those are the two things that I did to deal with the constipation and to deal with the fatigue. And to date, I've had no issues. So both of those were resolved within the first 3 or 4 weeks. Now let me share with you my amazing tracking apps. One came with the weight scale, and the other one, I'm not even certain how I located it. I think I just went to the App Store and researched or looked for GLP-1 apps, and I found one, and it's called Weightly. And I found that app to be amazing. And I also am going to touch on the scale, the smart scale that I purchased. I didn't have a smart scale in the beginning. The smart scale I didn't actually start tracking things on the smart scale until about month 3. So I am recommending that you go out and get a smart scale before you start, so you'll have those accurate data points right from the beginning. So the Weightly app helps you to set goals. It allows you to track your losses in the scale and also via BMI. It shows weekly loss averages and weekly totals. The app allows you to log your shots by date, medication, dosage, injection site, and side effects. The app allows for both free use, and there's an upgraded subscription that you can purchase monthly or annually, and it's super inexpensive, something like $6 a month, or I want to say $35 for the year. And that just opens up a bunch of other options in there, what's called their pro version. But the free version handles all of those things I initially listed, which was all I needed. Now, the smart scale that I purchased, and I'm so excited about this smart scale, it's called Renfro Smart Scale. And it's a body fat scale. Renfro has a selection of scales and other fitness related products. And my scale, the body fat scale, basically measures body composition. In a previous video, I think I used the term metabolic factors, but body composition is a more accurate term. It does track some metabolic factors, but in general, it's a body composition scale. The body fat scale tracks a lot of things. It tracks weight, BMI, skeletal muscle, muscle mass, bone mass, fat-free mass, subcutaneous fat, visceral fat, body water, protein, BMR, and metabolic age. You step on the scale, the bell rings, and all of those measurements are documented. And the app allows you to export the data if you need it for any reason. Absolutely amazing. I am so impressed. Like, this scale was the toy I could play with. If you have to add some fun things to your process, get the scale. It was just so interesting. And all of that information was just about me. It was wonderful to look at that. The scale shows where you are on a range. When it gets to a good place, then it shows up green. And that way you can see over time, there's a couple of different ways the data shows up, and you could see if it's been an increase, you get a little arrow. If it's been a decrease, you get a little arrow. And then you can just look at it, and then they give you a breakdown. So if you click on it, it'll explain exactly what the measurement is, exactly what the composition is, and what you need to do to improve it. And that is priceless, because if your skeletal muscle mass, let's say, is low, it will actually explain to you what you need to do to increase your skeletal muscle mass. So the information that it gives you is absolutely priceless. So I'll include the links to the products that I've covered in this video if I purchase them on Amazon. I'm not receiving compensation for that in this video, but I will share what the links are for you to at least research the products, do a blow up of the label, so it can kind of contribute to your research. If you haven't noticed, I will share things with you and send you on a research project so you can get what you need to from the research versus me just telling you what. My goal is not to tell you what to do. It's just to share with you my experience. And if you can take the information, go research it, you might get more out of the research than even I'm sharing. So that's why I do that. But I will put a list below, and if I can locate a link of where I purchased it, I will put that there for your research purposes. And like I said, it's not an affiliate link. I'm not being compensated for sending you to Amazon to purchase something or look up something. So I just needed to state that. And finally, I'm going to share my monthly weight loss amounts. Now, I got to start by saying that I started tracking my weight on purpose from the doctor visit. My mid-June doctor visit, my doctor advised me or cleared up the misunderstanding from the month before. So in May, I got advised to get on the weight loss meds. And in June, when I actually decided to do that, that weigh-in came in at 187. And remember, I'm still at the gym 3 days a week. And in the 10 days from that to my first shot, I'd actually lost 4 pounds, but I count those 4 pounds as part of the weight loss journey because that's when I started documenting it. I just added it to my total. So for the month of June, I was down 4, but I didn't actually start until the last day of June or the first day of July. You can count it. So for the month of July, I lost 14 pounds on the 2.5 milligrams. Now that's not all weight loss. That's a lot of water. If you look at pictures, you can see a lot of water, but that's not uncommon between inflammation in your body and water weight, which occurs even if you're water fasting. If you're doing a 72-hour water fast, you can lose that kind of weight. So that did not surprise me. That did not upset me. That did not shock me one bit. In the month of August, on the 5 milligrams, I lost 9 pounds. For the month of September, on 7.5 milligrams, I lost 7 pounds. In October is when I started 10 milligrams, and that month I lost 7 pounds. For the month of November on 10 milligrams, that's when I stopped titrating up after 10, I lost 8 pounds. And then for the first week of December on 10 milligrams, I lost 1 pound. So that's my total 50-pound weight loss. And my goal is 130 pounds. So I still have another 7 pounds to go for the month of December. And I'm estimating that I'll get there by the end of the year or shortly within the first 2 weeks after the new year is my estimated time to do that. And the weight loss app, by the way, will estimate based on your averages, your ups and downs. It will give you under the goal tab an estimate of when you should reach your weight loss goals. So for now, it's at December 27th, but we'll see. I'm at a weight set right now, the 137, 135. I'm just hovering in there. And I know that was a historical weight for me. I clearly remember it. And that's where we are. And like I said, I'm going down a little further. I would say my ideal is probably between 130 and 135. I'm just giving myself a little wiggle room for when I kick into the lifestyle practices of maintenance, meaning my mindset shift goes from losing weight to maintaining it and allowing those lifestyle changes to kick in big time for me. Now, I also want to say that I did lose weight at every dosage, but my doctor allowed me to titrate as recommended. But some doctors will only allow you to titrate up if you stop losing weight. For me, I didn't want that option. I really didn't want to test the possibility of paying for the medication for a month and then not losing any weight. And since my only side effects I had dealt with, I opted to titrate up. I know that I will probably start titrating down in or after maintenance. And so I felt that my option was the most cost-effective and time-efficient way for me to reach my goal first and then budget maintenance later. So that's all I have for part 3. In part 4, I will cover my fitness routine, what I learned about protein and muscle, and the role that hormone replacement therapy has played in my overall postmenopausal health. And thanks again for hanging out with me for part 3. I really appreciate you. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you like. Don't be shy. Have an amazing day, and I will see you in part 4. Bye-bye.